Hey gamers, the Red Dragon. We are taking a look at page 4, part 4 of the challenges for From Dust. So this first challenge is called Quicksand. What we're going to do is grab some lava and just draw a circle and be sure that it connects. You see that I didn't touch the village area because it would catch on fire, and you see that I drew around that indentation. So you want to be sure that you stay on the highest level possible, because this is just like the challenge that we did in the last video in part 3, which was called Collapse. And so this one's called Quicksand because, as you see, the sand is falling down like quicksand. So it sunk down, but we are protected by the wall that we drew with the lava. So once you draw that outside lava, that's all you have to do. And we'll go ahead and speed this up and move on to the next challenge. Our next challenge is Atlantis. I am going to be speeding this one up a little bit, not by much. You'll be able to tell everything that's going on. So what happens with this particular one is there's going to be several islands that pop out of the sea. So what we have to do is build a bridge to link up both or all of the islands and just keep on moving the totem pole forward. So the ultimate goal is to get the totem pole to this main island where I am pulling all this dirt from. So what will happen once the timer counts down all the way to 0 is the original island, or the last island that you were on, is going to sink into the sea. And if you haven't populated the next island before that one goes into the sea, it's going to fail you, and it's going to make you start all over. So what I'm doing here is I'm going ahead and working ahead, because I have played this map several times, so I know where the islands are popping out of the sea at. So that's why I'm going ahead and building these bridges. Now, I did do this several times because I thought, well, I can build a bridge fast enough where right here I can totally bypass this next island that's going to pop out. And I was going to try to go ahead and just have them move over to the main island, but it didn't work out like that. I don't know if I just simply wasn't fast enough. I don't know how you could have got much faster than the few times that I did try it that way, but it failed me every single time. So that's why you'll see me right here, even though I've got a bridge connecting this island all the way to the main island, I still have to populate this particular one that I'm sending them to, or else, even though I have 30 seconds, it's not enough time for them to get to the main island to set up that village. Because if the village isn't set up and the previous island goes underwater, it's going to fail you each and every time. I hope that makes sense. I know it's kind of difficult to explain, I think. But anyway, that's how that works. So that's why I went on ahead and I populated all the different villages. Once again, we are nearing the very end. There's only going to be one more video that comes out, and it's only going to have the last 2 levels of the challenges. So I just want to thank you again for watching all these, and providing your comments and liking them, and I just really appreciate it. Next challenge up is Irony. So we only have lava that we can work with in this particular level. So in this one, what we want to do is build a bridge, and what's happening is both villages have a keystone that's important to the other one, so they're just crossing over and kind of sharing their knowledge. So what we're going to do is build a bridge for both of them. You'll see that I placed a little bit of lava in the middle because there was some vegetation there that they couldn't cross. So that's why I made that particular fire. And then as they're crossing, there will be a little bit of an eruption that will come forward, so you'll have to rebuild both of those bridges just a little bit in the middle to ensure that the villagers can go ahead and cross back to the other side. And then once they've crossed over to the side and they've both reached their totem poles, it'll go ahead and end it for you. Next up, we have Drill. So with this particular one, there's a couple of ways you can play this. You see that we have the power to engulf all, which would be to suck up everything. So you'll see this outline that kind of looks like a horseshoe. What I could do is to take the dirt and draw around this horseshoe to kind of build that area up, and then use engulf to suck out all the water. But what I did instead was to use the dirt, because there is a good amount of dirt on this particular level. What I did was just built a bridge to the keystone, and then I just placed a lot of dirt to build that keystone up out of the water, and then formed a bridge where the villager could get over there and get that. I did try this one several times as well, because the villager is super picky when it comes to that particular bridge. I was getting so frustrated and angry, because there were times where he would have a clear path and he would just stop. And just like right here, he made it all the way to the keystone and then he just stops. And I don't know why. I don't know if he's afraid he's going to slide off on the side or whatever. But regardless, eventually he finally did decide that he was going to go ahead and move back. But that cost me a lot of time. But so does building the horseshoe and using the engulf. If you use the engulf, it still takes a lot of time to get all of that particular water out of the area, so that the person can go in and grab that to get back. So I'm not really sure which one's faster. You might can do it faster with using the engulf all, but I just thought it was a lot faster by going ahead and building this bridge up. But that's the neat thing about it, and you'll see. Read the comments. A lot of people will say in the comments, I've seen them say, on this particular one, I did this and it worked out, a little bit better. So that's cool. There's several different ways you can beat these levels. All right, so this one took some time to figure out. What we're going to do first is go ahead and use the Amplify Breath, pick up a lot of dirt, and close off that little waterfall. You'll see that we've got a fire started over here by this fire tree. So what I'm going to do is lay down sand all the way up to those exploding plants. Because what's going to happen is I need those plants to catch on fire to blow a hole. Now, while that is on fire and it's moving up to those exploding plants, I'm going to go ahead and work on shutting off this water right up here. And I think in this particular video I tried to do it where you could see what I'm talking about as far as the plants exploding. I think you get to see it right as it's starting to happen. Yeah, there you go. So I'm trying to shut off that top water, and the rest of the water that would be in the pool, those exploding barrels, or I keep on saying barrels, those exploding plants open that side up where the rest of the water is not going to form up, and it's just going to flow down into the side. As the campaign was played as well, a force of water like this is going to erode. So I had to keep on building up that wall. And that's why I kept on going back and forth, because there were several instances where it would break down and I would have to go back and rebuild it. Alright, so once I have a fairly good wall up, I'm going to go ahead and build this bridge where the villager can go ahead and walk over, and I'm going to send them over there. And you'll see that if I would have went on ahead and told them to walk over in that area, it probably would have saved me a lot of time. So for you who are trying to get the best time possible, you should probably send that villager a lot sooner than what I did, and at least have them walking up along the edge. But you'll see right here that wall keeps on breaking down. But the good thing about this particular level is there is a good amount of sand that you can work with, and all I have to do is keep it sealed off enough to where it dries out, where that villager can get that keystone and then get back out of there. And then after he's out, I don't care whether or not the area floods. So from here on out, I'm not touching anything, I'm not moving. All I have to do is wait on the villager to get back with the keystone. As always, also be sure you check out the link in the description box. I'll have a strategy guide up where all the challenges will eventually be, and also a walkthrough for the campaign. You should be able to get all the achievements by watching these walkthrough videos as well. Next up, we have the Trees of Water. There's also a couple of ways you can use and beat this particular level, but what I did was there's this ring of fire coming in, and I used the Amplify breath to kind of suck up the area in front of the flames, so it didn't have nothing to catch on fire with, and any other little flames I just threw dirt on to toss out, and that ended up getting me a lot faster time than trying to use the water plants. So if you spend a lot of time on that map, you'll understand what I mean by there's a set of water plants up ahead, but oh well, I think we did it the best way possible. So in this last challenge on page 4, I'm going to go ahead and use the lava to build up a rock wall right here, and you'll see that I already had them walking towards the totem pole because I wanted them to get out in that middle right there, because I have one exploding plant, and I put it on the side right here, and I threw some lava on it in order to catch it on fire, because I want water to drain out that right hand side, because what I'm going to do is try to redirect the water so I can go ahead and have these people cross over to the other side. And by building this up and by allowing that water to flow to the right, it's just, I just kind of switched holes. Water was flowing on the left, now it's flowing on the right, and then so I just have to build this up. And this was another one that gave me a lot of trouble, not so much as far as figuring out the puzzle, but just getting it to where the stupid people would move forward and walk over to the other side. It was so frustrating because there were several challenges where I thought I could have a lot better time if the villagers would just cooperate and walk where they could easily walk. So you'll see right here, there's a couple of them that got started and then all of a sudden they stopped again. And it's just, if they fix that, hopefully they'll come out with a little patch that makes it where the villagers are just a tad bit smarter. I talked about before in a video early on, they can, bring up shamans to stop tsunamis and stop fire and lava, but they can't see where the heck they're walking. But anyway, that does it for this video. Stay tuned for the last 2 levels of the challenges. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe.